And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Growth with Tacos, the Mayank invasion. Let's see if we got tacos. He's got a taco shirt. He's got a beer. It looks like it's taco type beer, like Corona or something.
Yeah, so I'm drinking what you would be drinking. So I'm kind of like not, I'm in theme. I'm on brand right now.
I love it because I don't have any beer in the home. So
cool.
I'll take one for the team. Don't worry.
Actually met yet. John Marco didn't know who you were, Mayank, because John Marco's like avoid of social media for the past couple.
That's
months.
A good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
very good.
I mean,
so
I
you
still
two meet,
but
I'm
like
it's
so.
I've been waiting for like 20 minutes to eat a taco.
Are you the original Mayank?
I mean, who is the original Mayank? What does that really mean? But yeah, in the Yang gang.
Okay, so wait, what's the back? Because I remember seeing something about this on Twitter.
Right.
And like, you've kind of permeated the normalcy of the name now, I feel.
I mean, it was crazy. So yeah, I was born with the name Mayank, so that's my birth name. It's on my license. Some people out there might think it's like a hoax or something. I don't know. I was seeing weird stuff on Twitter the last couple of days about it. I was like, what's going on? But yeah, I have that name, and I think the first one in the Yang gang. I don't know. There were like two or three of us.
Maybe better context for me. What is your Twitter handle?
Yes, so it used to be at Gupta Thoughts, and then I tweeted at Donald Trump saying, please jump off a cliff and Fall Guys, and the algorithm suspended my account for that. I was talking about a video game, so I was like, it's not, but, now it's
but you can see how that can be taken easily out of context, even with the name of the game.
Right, so it was instant. It was like second after I clicked send, it got me. So it was just an algorithm that was just looking at people tweeting at Trump, and it was just mad at. Oh yeah, it was Columbus Day. This always gets me mad.
In Minecraft.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that all happened. And yeah, that was weird. But yeah, the Mayank movement kind of occurred when Jeannie realized there were three Mayanks. So Mayank Tyagi, who is at Doinkerschnaz on Twitter, he's been my friend since we've been like 6 years old or 7 years old. So we've been friends for like over 20 years. So like that predates all this stuff. So when I got interested in Andrew Yang, I think it was probably on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I saw some clips of it, and I started listening to him, and I was like, damn, this guy's awesome. So of course I talked to my friends about him, including the other Mayank, and then get him into the Yang gang. And then I realized there was another Mayank that wasn't on Twitter that much that was also in the Yang gang. So I was like, oh crap, we got three Mayanks. And then Jeannie on Twitter, Jeannie Shinobi, if you know him, he realized, he's like, oh, there are three Mayanks. I'm going to change my name to Mayank Shinobi. And then people started following him, and that was just like the most ridiculous thing. And I have screenshots of like over 100 people changing their name to Mayank because it was just so weird and random and organic, and people are having fun.
I didn't know much about it, but I just clearly understood it was a beautiful internet moment.
it was really funny.
And a lot of those names are still there today. All of people's Twitter nicknames are still there today.
Yeah, I still see it around once in a while. I'm like, what?
I better understand how when you first said, who is the real Mayank? You know what? I was going to say you're exceptionally humble at first, but now I'm like, you know what? Who is?
Right.
Who really is?
It kind of turned into a thing, and people started making so many memes. Like, my funny favorite one is the Drake meme where it's like you're pointing at like or what's he doing? He's like, comrade. And he has like the hand up, and then he's like pointing, and then he's like Mayank. That was one of my favorite memes that someone made.
I guess we can kind of relate to all the British people at the end of V for Vendetta, all wearing the Guy Fawkes mask.
Yeah, that's really kind of what it felt like. And people are like,
as with any great movement, though, it has come with its own conspiracy theories.
Listen, for better or worse, there are tons of amazing positive that came out of the diversity of the coalition that Andrew's campaign built. There's such amazing things that have come out of it. This podcast, one of millions of things, billions of things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
at the same time, there are Jason and I know each other from Iowa.
Yep, exactly, and Storm Lake, right? Because James, we've talked about that too, and it's like awesome the kind of work you guys did there. So
Where
Chris and I were actually
was
on his
the film
podcast,
crew?
Fix America, because him and
Yep.
Mike T have a podcast called Let's Fix America, and they invited Pierce and I on, and we got to talk.
Awesome.
And,
yeah, that was a lot of fun. Just
we're all part
listening.
of the Normal People Network now, so
Yeah, we got to get working
Great.
on that. We got to get cracking
Great.
on making that. That'll be fun. Just having a network of different podcasts and people that are just normal, just like normal folks, and we can like throw together something to make sure we like pump up each other's content and our, like just interacting with each other, because I think that's what it's all about, right? Like we've had all of this work when we were running for Andrew Yang, and I did a lot of the texting stuff, so I wasn't like on the ground as much. But like it was just like a marathon, or like a you're just going a sprint, sorry, and you're just like jumping into it, and you're just like every day it's like boom boom boom, and now it's like more of a marathon and long-term coalition building a little bit more, and like understanding what that means is a lot different. So I'd definitely be curious to see.
Curious to see what?
Oh, sorry. Curious to see like how you guys are thinking about that, and like how you're kind of going about moving forward.
Absolutely. No, I totally relate to you, because fundamentally, I think for everyone, a very common aspect was the fact that this became such an obvious yet very obscure candidate to support. And we kind of passively acknowledged how infectiously easy it was for us to relate to this and understand and see how we can build a better world through it. And that kind of drove us to like, listen, if it was that easy for me, proportionally speaking, if the entire country fully understand what we're understanding about this right now, it can really just move all the mountains in the world. So we had a very incentive, like there is mathematically a above average and regular chance if I talk to you about this foreign political stuff, a normal American wouldn't really care about every year because they're disenfranchised and just disconnected from the process. And then there is a good enough chance that it's worth it, because you might end up being as much of a supporter as I am, or maybe even stronger, which is even awesome. People as long as we understand that supporting Andrew Yang's campaign as much as you can was a win-win scenario, there was no reason not to go all in. And it was honestly the ride of so many people's lives, myself included. I've been having fun since then, nonstop and grinding at it. Like, it's just not over. It might never be over for all we know. Like, shit. Like, right. It was actually coincidentally, as relatedly, the top post on one of the top posts on Reddit today is like aggressive positivity. And I'm like, oh, someone's like, oh, it could be worse. And the other guy in the comics like, it could be better. It could be a lot better. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
One might actually bring that. I mean, there's, what Pierce, myself, and you talked about like 6-7 months ago on this podcast about Andrew Yang running for mayor of New York. It looks like it might be more and more real every day.
Yeah, and things can change rapidly in one breaking news. Pathways for a lot of people can change. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just munching my tacos listening.
It's crazy because in the back, looking back, we'll all see this in terms of the history books of how it happened. But if being an active participant in society right now, in particular, and with everything there was going on too, you will see how quickly the outcome in not just 1, 2, 3 months from now, but 1, 2, 3 years and decades from now will have, depending on how things happen right now, which is it's a very unique moment in history, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's so much happening in our government right now, and so many changes, and the news cycles are getting people so riled up, and it just feels like, it's and also the things happening on the ground with COVID, this entire year, it's what the thing that a lot of people say, it's sometimes 10 years of change happens in 10 months, right? So that's exactly what we're seeing. Or
maybe
right
even 10 weeks for some cases,
right,
which I'm sure in a lot of ways, as much as everything's been going on, there's been so many other things happening in the world in recent history in general that it's shaping up to be I don't know. I just told everyone planet Earth is going through a phase right now. It is going through something right now.
The month have felt like a decade.
Even, in my opinion, even before coronavirus, it was setting up to be something drastic. And then coronavirus just accelerated many changes that we never would have seen coming so fast as we did.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it to you this way. In my resume, I used to put experience in Slack and Zoom as a skill. Now it's definitely not there anymore.
Yeah, yeah, that's a given. Everyone's kind of experienced it some way or another.
It's like me assuming this person speaks English because their resume is in English. Like, is that much of an expectation?
Right. Yeah, it's like what it used to say to like Microsoft Word and stuff on your resume. It's like those are just kind of ubiquitous in our society now for a lot of jobs and positions that you're looking for. It's like,
does anyone still use Microsoft though? Haven't we all gone pretty much Apple at this point?
Oh gosh, you know me, man. I gave iPhone a fair 3-month trial, and I just couldn't do it. I enjoyed the seamlessness between my iPhone and my MacBook Pro, but I was just like, when it comes to my phone, I'm like, no. I love the learning curve of Android. I've always have, and it's worked fine. And I'm on PC
too.
Exactly. What are you rocking?
Yeah,
I got the OnePlus. I've got the OnePlus 7 Pro, so there's no camera on the front. It's a pop-up camera.
Yeah.
Actually.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Can you do the? Is it loud enough to hear? Yeah. Wow. Look at that selfie camera, folks. Ooh.
Damn.
It's nice. It's a good phone. It's lasted a couple years.
I had the 6T, I believe.
They're good phones, and they don't break the bank, and yeah.
When it comes to just everyday use items, when I can, I try to support competition with my dollar. Like I could have gotten a Samsung phone or an iPhone, just like literally everyone else, but like, dude, like competition is dying off and it's bad. Like, and I fear that I'm only slowing the inevitable of just monopolies again, like in the Bell Company in 2013 or not 2013, but like 100 years ago,
right?
Or whatever, breaking up Big Bell and everything. Like we're people feel like history doesn't repeat itself in some regards. Like, oh, that's such a drastic thing. Would never happen in our modern comparative society.
Do you know what happened just today? 48 states plus the FEC sued Facebook. They're suing Facebook for monopoly with WhatsApp and Instagram. I mean, that's
what I wanted to tangent into.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to tangent. It could be like, no, it was perfect that you brought it up because we were on the same track there. Like, and now, freaking Facebook. It's just, again, a lot can change in a little time. We don't know what will happen or couldn't happen or might not end up happening or even happening faster than we know. But, oversight and regulation over big tech, like just in many ways big companies before it in decades and centuries, like is a conversation we should be having, and the way it interfaces with our everyday life as a society, like when
like
regulation,
misinformation and disinformation, combating that in a way that isn't like stifling free speech, like it is a tricky thing, but it's something we really desperately have to figure out, especially seeing the number of times like the pandemic video on Facebook was shared and 9 times faster than it was, like good COVID information was being shared. It's just that stuff spreads so fast. And
when you, especially Jason and I, anyone that's been to stumping against in Republican or conservative neighborhoods or different neighborhoods in general, like we were in Iowa, you can truly understand the kind of bubble they could live in. And that as much as what we understand about science and everything is our reality, for someone else's, it doesn't mean there's different realities out there that people live every day. And that's why more than anything, that's why I'll always be grateful about my time in Iowa. I really had the opportunity to meet a part of this country that I was never familiar with, and especially being in big cities my entire life. And there are plenty of people out there that I hate to see these main streets. Literally, I've seen main streets in Iowa just shutting down. This is a 500-person small town, and this one road with 2 or 3 dozen local shops that just thrive on it is just boarded up, and it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean it's hard.
That was to the northeast of us in Storm Lake, where we went to that dinner at the library.
Yeah, that was very heartwarming.
Main Street was shut down except for the library.
Oh yeah, no, Jason, you don't know about that because I believe you met those people before I was there.
Yeah, I met those people before what?
Yeah, what was the backstory on that? Because I just understood we were invited there, but I think that was
we went to this super tiny town, and it had maybe 70 houses in it grand total, and our goal that day was to hit all 70 houses. And so we started door knocking and everything. And Kaylee and I got so extremely cold that we just had to find a building to go into. So we went to the one single main street that we could find on Google Maps. And we like walked up and down it looking for something to like go in and buy to like get hot water to drink or something, you know, like something hot to drink to warm us up. And all that was open was the library. And the librarian there took us in and everything. And, you know, we started talking to her and she's like, oh yeah, I've seen that Andrew Yang guy. I really like him. And it just kind of started. And we got her and her husband to actually be precinct captains for us. And, you know, first time ever voting Democratic. They had always voted independently. And then they invited us to a potluck, like after everything was over with.
Oh yeah, so it was one of those towns that you and Kaylee visited. Okay, yeah, what a beautiful backstory. I wasn't aware of that. I just understood these super nice people in this town that I haven't been to because we went to a million different towns. Yeah. They invited us over for a little potluck after the election. And other people from the town were there. It was super nice and, oh man, like so welcoming.
Yeah, they all came and said, we love you. Thank you for, you know, doing what you do for Andrew. We liked him. We just didn't feel like, you know, comfortable voting for him and all this other stuff. And they explained why, because they thought no one else knew. And it was like just a cool experience being there.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, those personal.
It was perfectly curated and everything. We ended up donating some of Andrew's books to it. I donated a copy of the book that I wrote to it. You know, but they had like baking pans that you could actually check out. Yeah, that were in like different shapes and instructions on how to like do cake decorating for them. And
that's
stuff
so
like
awesome.
That. So cool. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be curious to know more about how it was having some of those conversations with Republicans in Iowa, traditional Republicans or independents like that. That seems like an area where, you know, we can have more dialogue with, especially because, you know, if Pierce is here, I was going to ask him because I know he's voted Republican a lot in the past. I don't know about you, Gianmarco. But like, just what kind of conversations do you have that actually worked? And could you share some of those? Yeah, I'd just be curious.
Absolutely. You go. I'll go ahead real quick. I'll keep mine super simple. Honestly, you can have the easiest time talking to conservatives or Republicans, especially coming from a Democratic side, if you're not immediately violent to them in your words or your actions. Like they will open the doors for you, like metaphorically and literally sometimes, like into their home, and for you to engage with them in conversation. Like there is such a simple solution to just communicating with your fellow American, and unfortunately, more and more people would just rather easily hate and find something to argue about. Whereas like it really taught me, like it really solidified my understanding that like, you know, I understood that like a lot of these people complaining online are just a very vocal minority, but I had no idea how small that vocal minority was until I experienced all these awesome people in the middle of America that I've never been to before. And, you know, and in those small towns, rural areas, which are traditionally more leaning on the right, and then urban areas on the blue, like, you know, there are Democrats out there. Like there are, you know, the Democratic Party has their offices there and like the local county offices, etc. But, and they're as normal people as anyone else, honestly. But yeah, you really like for us, that was the biggest opportunity in a lot of ways, and in a lot of ways was a good prize. Like these are people that are going to participate in the democratic process, and this is an area we are effective with and communicating with. As in terms of just actually having an actual conversation, because not many people have actual conversations these days. They just keep it short and simple to 280 characters on Twitter and surround themselves in an unfortunate echo chamber a lot of the time. Right. Sidetrack, fund public journalism.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge proponent of that. I have a book I was just reading about it. I can't find it; it's not up here. But yeah, it's so important. Yeah, sorry.
But not just that. Like, fund local, like, just societal engagement, please. Like, people feel like you always hear about the presidency every 4 years, and I tell people, if you moving forward for the rest of your life never again voted for like federal offices and only voted on state and municipal and local offices, your life will be exponentially much more changed than it ever was just voting for president every 4 years.
Can I give an example of that right now? Yes, my wife is downstairs, and every Wednesday night she listens to the entire city council meeting that's happening. I live in Minneapolis in Minnesota. And every Wednesday she's listening, she's getting the info that we need on like what they're voting on, like what they're talking about. People are calling in. Like last Wednesday, they went until 2 a.m. because they had so many callers call in to give input on the right now they're discussing the city budget in Minneapolis. So it's like they're thinking of cutting some funding from the police, and there is a robust debate happening that you would never see on Twitter if you didn't listen to the kind of the people calling in and kind of talking about their specific instances and grievances on both kind of sides of this argument. So it's so important to pay attention to your local politics because they are the things that affect your day-to-day lives. It's like your water, your property taxes, your schools, your air locally, like all that stuff is vital. So I totally agree on that.
Yeah, and I'm in Tampa right now, and when I got here, I found out there was a huge problem with the water main pipe in the city, and the mayor made an announcement that had we not acted fast enough, the entire city of Tampa would have been out of water. So now we have to boil all of our water until they fix it over the next few days to make sure it's fine. That's just an immediate health hazard. I'm sure the news got out appropriately. I was well invested in local news anyways, but I'm damn. These are the people that run this stuff. The water pipe into the bathroom right now isn't run by the federal government. It's run by the city of Tampa.
Very true.
Our everyday, day-to-day life stuff that you need to survive. The more local you participate, the bigger impact it will have. And I tell people all the time, if 10, 5, even 1% of Andrew supporters put in 1% of their enthusiasm in local campaigns and races, 2024, if you want Yank 2024, it will be a slam dunk, guaranteed. But
for sure, yeah.
Again, it's just the appeal of the presidency. Guys, there's much more.
Yeah,
that's why I tell people. I hate to phrase it this way, but honestly, Yang getting a cabinet position doesn't matter in comparison to just participating in your local community. Honestly, if all of us just did that, it doesn't matter what he can do nothing for the next few years, in my opinion, and we'll be better off because we just participated.
Right. I know, Jason, you've been involved with democratic politics in your local level where you're at right now.
Well, it's not really my local level. It's just kind of where I ended up.
Well, the local level of where you are.
Brought me here and everything, and it's been, the changes that you're able to make are just more real. They mean a lot more and stuff like that. So Washington Heights is asking, Pierce may or may not show up. We don't know, man. We're working on it.
Sad.
But it's just, you feel it a lot quicker. Starting in 2021, the state of Oklahoma is going to have to start accepting, the tax revenue from that, the Affordable Care Act already collects and everything, and put it towards keeping rural hospitals open. And it was something that Republicans here in the state have been trying to shut down for the longest time. And it was a big win. And that's just, we did that in July. 6 months later, it's going to go into effect, and it's going to help thousands of people have access to affordable healthcare.
Yeah, that's huge.
There's, especially now during the time of COVID. Oklahoma is out of beds, Texas is out of beds, Arkansas is out of beds, Louisiana is out of beds, New Mexico is out of beds.
The entire Midwest.
COVID patients that's not 2 to 3 states away. So it's really screwed up.
Yeah.
And this is going to reopen some rural hospitals that could, take 2 or 3 people that need it. Excuse me.
Yeah, and I was also reading that rural doctors are also quitting and leaving because it's they were putting them in this insane position and not supporting them like they need to be supported. I think a doctor.
The supplies they need, they don't get the, they definitely don't get paid enough.
Yeah, and the city themselves are not mandating masks in the city, so they're you're not doing this. Why the hell should I care?
Yeah, exactly. It's not even about paying them enough at that point. It's about protecting their lives enough.
The governor of Oklahoma has had COVID 3 times this year.
What?
And he still won't put
Is that a record?
In his place.
Is that a record?
Getting it 3 times has to be the top of 1% of corona frequency. Jesus.
Oh my god.
He just keeps going he's this good old country boy who loves to drink and everything, and he just keeps throwing ragers at the governor's mansion, and no mask requirements at all. And he just keeps catching COVID.
It's just unfortunate in general.
We're just face palming here because I can't say anything else. It's
No, so I'm probably going to hang around and keep working with the Democrats here and everything because I've had some offers made and stuff, and hopefully get his ass kicked out in the next 2 years. So got to find a good Democrat to do it though.
Nice.
Yeah, I have no idea what Democratic politics is like in Oklahoma, but I bet it's
like
pretty
running up a
challenging.
hill with a handful of scissors, blindfolded.
Yeah.
Nice. So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, there's a very good chance you're going to get stabbed, but there's a little bit of a chance you just might actually
make that stab worth it, Jason. That's all you can ask for, really.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's ready to help out in an area like that, I think it's you. So
awesome.
I think you're going to do great.
No, what's really killing me right now is our one lone federal Democratic representative got voted out because the state of Oklahoma, which is ran by Republicans, it's all red, decided that mail-in ballots would not be counted unless they were received 2 days before Election Day. So there's like literally 200,000 votes just sitting there uncounted in Oklahoma. That was definitely Kinder Horn's victory.
I'll finish my thing in like 30 minutes.
Because she only lost by like 5,000-6,000 votes. There are 200,000 votes still there to be counted. I think she would have taken it.
Yeah, that's
because
insane.
her area is the area that's completely Democratic. So
it is really challenging to deal with like the Byzantine structure of voting, because I understand that it needs to be at like the county level and the state level, and like they need to decide how they do their own elections. But it's like there is so much disenfranchisement going around with voting that Republicans seem to keep pushing. It really blows my mind. Like, I just don't understand how it continues to happen over and over and over. Is it just
I
because
think for federal elections and everything, there needs to be a federal standard. There needs to be a federal, oversight for federal elections. And each state needs to be, hey, you're doing a federal election this cycle. Every vote, mail-in votes, they have until Election Day to be postmarked. If they're postmarked by Election Day, then they're good to count. Stuff like that.
Right. And the other confusing thing is
oversight of that. But as far as like local voting, let them make their own laws as long as it's, as long as they put laws on paper. Oklahoma doesn't have real laws on paper. They just make it up as they go along and decide without like any votes.
Yeah. And postmarked by Election Day is postmarked by Election Day is the only acceptable solution because you know how you have to be in line by 8 o'clock or whatever the local time is for Election Day? Yeah. If you're in line for 2 days, your vote's still going to be counted.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the difference would be with mail-in ballots. There is no difference.
The difference is that more Democrats send in mail-in ballots.
In a partisan sense, there is a difference, but in a practical sense, there isn't.
Right. I mean, in the partisan sense, that's why it's happening in a lot of these states. Like it was happening in Georgia, happening, in a lot of red states where I think my parents live in Texas, and their county to vote by mail, they had to register to do that in like a 1 week window. They had the 1 week window so they could register to vote by mail. If they didn't, then they could not, and they have to do it in person. So it's like these rules make absolutely no sense with what it means to actually get that voting done safely. And we saw, like basically no voter fraud, even though our current president's going on.
Rare as it is. I mean, it's like, what was it? Nationwide, every 4 years, there's for every single vote that there is every 4 years, whether it's at the county, state or federal level or city level, it's only like 0.0000325%.
Right. Yep. It's super small. And I think the couple things of voter fraud, I know the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania was really on this because he was getting into it on Twitter with the lieutenant governor of Texas, who offered up like a couple $1 million or something if anyone gave him evidence of voter fraud. And the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania is like, hey, I got a thing for you. It's this Republican that tried to vote for his dead mom or dad, I think it was, and then they arrested him or whatever for it. He's like, hey, I would love my millions of dollars, please give me it in Sheetz gift cards, I think it was. So
why would you go with Sheetz? There's Wawa.
I don't know.
Damn these middle of Pennsylvania people. Sheets suck. With Wawa 100% people.
I don't know either of them, so I have no opinion on that. But yeah,
I have a very strong opinion as far as Sheets versus Wawa, and it's Wawa 100%.
I mean, if we can travel again, I would love to try both.
Don't try Sheets. It's a waste of time. All they got are hot dogs and shit, and it's just not that good.
That
It's like
special thing you had me get at the gas station in Pocahontas the first day I was in Iowa, Jason.
What was it? Oh,
It was
those
a drink,
chips
I feel.
or something?
Was it a chip or a drink? I don't remember. I think it was a drink. It was a drink.
Surge. It was Surge.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Like
What
the
a
world's
great
greatest
first
fucking
experience.
soda known to mankind.
Surge came back?
Yeah, it came back for a short run and everything, and you can still find it in local areas where it did extremely well. And Iowa was one of those areas where it did extremely well.
Why am I not surprised?
No man needs that much caffeine, but that much caffeine is really fucking delicious.
How much caffeine is it compared to a Red Bull?
Like 3 times as much.
Really? Damn. That was quite a bit.
Yeah. You were wired the rest of the day. That's why you were able to stay out there.
I think
long
that's
and,
me
like,
naturally.
get
That's why I was able to completely pass Storm Lake and almost make it to another state before we got lost.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
51 milligrams of caffeine in a 12-ounce serving of Surge.
I think when
Yeah,
there's
that's a
more
lot.
milligrams of caffeine, there are ounces of serving that might be bad.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know what's in other things, so that doesn't seem good.
But the thing is, they don't do the 12-ounce cans. They only do the 18-ounce cans now.
Goodness.
Well,
The market was loaded.
I remember that from
So-
back in the day, but yeah, that's great.
And I guess historic gaming news today, Cyberpunk 2077 is officially as of 2.5
Couple
hours
hours,
ago.
yeah.
Depending on your time zone, because if you're on console, you could have switched your time zone to Philippines and get it early, from what I understand.
Oh,
But-
cool.
After 8 years since being announced, it is here. And I haven't heard much about it myself. Like, I heard about it at some point previously, but I'm like, oh, I know it's just been working on it for a minute, apparently.
I
But
did hear that you can set your genital size in the game. That's part of the character customization.
interesting.
So
Can
that's
you
a
make it
big.
Jewish or non-Jewish?
I was reading up on the development today, and
That's the most
the game
important part.
seemed
Size
the
doesn't
game seemed
matter.
to start off with 15 people working on the game when it started out to 500 people right now.
Yeah.
And I really hope it kicks ass. I really, really hope it kicks ass.
I'm still trying to get my hands on a PS5. So
Oh, PS5. I don't know if it's real even anymore because of how hard it is to get.
no, it's real because I almost had one. I almost
heard-
made it out
I
of the
heard.
store with one.
I heard that story. It's that's scary, crazy, man.
So you can play City Skylines even better on it.
Probably so. But dude, like they had one on demo display at like a Walmart that I went to pick up some toner and
Dude,
everything.
people would pay top dollar for the demo display.
No, I got it for like a 20% discount, and I almost made it out the door with it. And then the manager stopped me and said, "We're not allowed to sell the demo. You can't take this. I'll call the cops."
No,
Yeah, I
was
can't
like-
believe that.
it was like considered
I
an
was
open
like
box or
literally
something.
almost out the door, man.
It was it like an out of box open box copy or something that they considered it as, or what?
It was considered open box, which is why I got it for 20% off.
Dude, that would have been such a fucking steal in an almost literal sense.
Oh my
I
god.
know. Well, no, he like
What was
caught
this?
me and almost called the cops.
So wait,
That-
I was
You
like, I have a
convinced-
receipt. I'm good. I'm covered.
you convinced someone else at the store to sell it to you?
Yes, I convinced the store employee to sell it to me.
Oh
They
my
must have gotten
God.
fired. I mean,
Probably for sure.
my
But we
God,
made it
Jason,
like
that-
the last like 180 feet.
That would have been. How close to the door were you?
I would have
Like
been like,
180
call the
feet away,
cops,
like,
call the
You know
cops.
the
I'm
electronic
taking this.
department is like all the way in the back. I
Oh
was-
no!
Literally almost to the freaking the clothing part, which is always up front. So I like had just made it to like there, like the door was within sight. Man, if I would have sprinted, the guy would not have caught me because he was more rotund than I am. And I may not look like it, but I can move.
Oh man, I would have
no.
honestly, if I wasn't
When you have to run
Brown,
for your
maybe.
life, you'll know how to run. Yeah.
If I wasn't Brown, maybe.
Marco, if you see me running, you better turn around and follow me because some shit's happening.
Yeah. Oh my lord.
That sucks, dude.
I played football and baseball in high school, and I never ran once.
How did you get away with that?
I was 6'8" in freaking high school.
That makes sense. I just played
I was
tennis.
throwing like low 90s in high school. So they didn't tell me to do shit.
There you go. That works. Oh yeah. It really feels weird that we're reaching the end of this year. You know, I've just been thinking about that. Like the past 12 months, so much has happened. We were in the middle of a Democratic primary 12 months ago.
Yeah.
I feel that. Yeah, man. This time last year, I was in Reno, Nevada.
This time last year, literally, I got the memory on my iPhone today. I was taking a picture of Pierce because he decided that he was going to stand on the side of an abandoned country road in Iowa with an Andrew Yang sign jumping up and down to get one car's attention.
That
The vote for Andrew.
That seemed like a good investment of time, in my opinion.
Yeah, it would have been a great investment of time if more cars would have come by. But considering the fact within like 80,000 acres, there were only 2 households.
I mean, that's a lot of Californians in that one car.
Yeah.
Very true, about 4 of them.
But yeah, you know, like, what do you guys think is going to happen next year? Like, what do you think we're going to think looking back on the last 12 months from now?
My focuses right now are the Georgia runoffs and
I can't
Biden's
believe that I fought so hard to get like a PS5.
And you're just going to be playing it, and you're going to love it, and it's going to be great.
Like, I can't believe I killed that old man for this PS5.
So, Jason, they refunded you all your money? Did they compensate you for like emotional harm in any way?
Or a $25 gift card on top of the money that they refunded me.
Okay, that's nice. That can be like an external battery or something, like a quick charger. Okay, did you take advantage of it?
I haven't used it yet. No.
I'll take it if you don't want it.
I'm still really mad at Walmart.
All right, then I'll take care of Best Buy for you. I'll go to Best Buy and get myself something.
Yeah, you can sell gift cards online now, can't you?
I'll buy it off you for $2.
For $2.
Are you honestly gonna go back to Best Buy and use
Walmart
it,
is
Jason?
probably a fair trade because anything you buy from there isn't going to be of quality enough to like last more than $2.
You can use it on like food and stuff, like, you know, from Walmart, like canned goods or canned goods.
No, I'm talking about buying it at Best Buy. Wait. Was this? Wait, I'm sorry. Was this Best Buy or Walmart? I might be missing.
This was Walmart.
Oh, okay. I was like, why are you talking about Walmart? I'll take care of the Best Buy gift card. Like, I don't care about Walmart.
No, it was a Walmart gift card.
Okay, so I'll give you 5.
You can buy a ton of things from Walmart. You know, you need something.
None of it is
worth
$5 though.
Then let me take care of that for you. So if you're not going to use it,
we'll talk after the podcast.
All right.
Oh man.
I was thinking about just like donating it to a local women's shelter, anything, because the cases of domestic abuse
here in Oklahoma, nearby Walmart
quadrupled since the beginning of COVID. So, and Oklahoma already had the highest amount of domestic abuse in the country. So,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, I got a nearby Walmart. I'll use that.
You totally just missed what I was thinking actually about doing with it.
Oh, sorry. I was just looking up if there was a nearby Walmart around me.
What he's going to do with it is way more important than what you're going to do with it.
Oh, please do tell. Rewind. Do the instant replay live.
I was thinking about just giving it to like a local women's shelter because the cases of domestic abuse here in Oklahoma have quadrupled since the beginning of COVID. And
That seems like a much better use of that.
Oklahoma already had the highest amount of cases of COVID per population. I mean, the highest amount of cases of per domestic abuse, per population in the country that it was. So
I don't even want to. It's hard to comprehend how much mental health issues are happening right now in America and across the world too, but especially America.
That should be as reported as the medical news, because it is medical news.
Yes. Yeah, like I know I'm not doing totally fine. Like, we have to like be open about it, and
none of us are doing fine because we're stuck in this like microcosm of we have nothing, we can't go outside, so what do? We grab our phones.
If anything, this should be the perfect opportunity to speak about the importance of mental health.
It really should, and we need to pass healthcare for all, Medicare for all, whatever you want to call it. We need to cover everyone, and we need to make sure that everyone gets healthcare, including mental health care, because of how important it is for our future, right? It's like the Yang American scorecard he was talking about. If our stock market's going up and suicides and mental health cases and overdoses are also going up, that's not good. We need
and look at exactly what is happening right now. Literally.
All of those things.
The K-shaped recovery, it's like I'm paying attention a lot to like the economic side of it, and it's like the high wage earners in the past, they bounced right back and they're actually making a little bit more now, and the low wage earners right now, they are not bouncing back because they're the frontline workers, they're the fast food workers, they're the ones getting at more risk of getting COVID and affecting their friends and family. And it's like we need to remember, like, we're all in this together and we're all humans. And I struggle to understand why we weren't more like a country like New Zealand or South Korea, where we kind of paid people to stay home and we have an infrastructure to get people food, and so they could stay at home and kind of do what we need to do to get over this thing. Because look at New Zealand, they're out
you
doing
gotta
fun.
do, man. Yeah,
New
do
Zealand
whatever you
has
gotta
a normal
do
life right now.
What was that?
I said New Zealand has a normal life right now.
They do. They're out at sports events and bars and living life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in all the fairness, Americans are still at bars and sporting events living life.
Oh, yeah.
They're just dying at 3,500 people a day at this point.
It's something else,
All right, I'm gonna do some quick math real quick, because March 15th was how long ago? Was March 15th. 269 days ago.
Yeah.
So 269.
I said that like I knew actually the answer that he was looking for.
Divided by
Your math guy.
7. That was 38.4 weeks ago. So if we could have crushed this by everyone staying indoors for 2 weeks, let's run up to 3 just for the safety of it, right?
We
could have beaten this virus 12 times over at this point.
Yeah.
At least, if we really severely actually locked down as a nation, and we did have some cases still trickle through, at least we would be able to do things like contact tracing in a meaningful way.
Yeah, like they did with Ebola back during Obama's term.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's such detailed logs of where the spread started, where the cases went, and where it stopped.
Yeah. I literally turned off contact tracing on my iPhone because I get notifications like every day. You may have been in contact with someone that had this. And I'm like, all I literally did was walk to the pickup section of like Walmart. I was not around people. I was socially distanced. I hand sanitized, and you're telling me like I can talk to one person to get my groceries or something like that. And it's just like,
Yeah. It's you pretty much just have to assume that anyone outside your pod or group or whatever you're calling it might have it, and you need to treat it as such. And I really can't believe we're still in it. It's really, I can't do anything but laugh at the situation, because otherwise I'll just start crying because it's so insane.
It blows my mind that and people are now trying to blame like the whole COVID thing and more people getting sick on it because they like get flu shots and they get vaccinations and everything, and I'm just like, that's not the way this works. You COVID did not come into existence solely because you got a vaccine when you were 7 years old against, the measles, mumps, and rubella.
Yeah, it
That's
goes
not
back
how
to
this works.
yeah. Well, I just want that meme up like in front of me all the time, or that GIF or whatever it is, because it's so insane, and it comes back to where people are getting their media. Like there's an alternative universe some people are living in OAN, and Fox is too like left wing for some people now, which is also insane.
Mind blowing.
It's just like,
If
how did we get here?
Fox is going to become the moderate news channel, and we can't allow that. We cannot allow Fox News to become the moderate news channel. That will destroy politics in this country as we know it. That type of thinking cannot become the moderate way.
Yeah,
I'm
not
so
good.
worried about that.
It's not good. I have a tiny slight worry about Tucker Carlson running in 2024, because if he runs, I feel like he'll win, and then I don't want to live here.
You just gave me the same chills when someone suggested Trump running in 2016. That's not a good thing.
It gives me the chills because if we're not careful, I think I wouldn't consider myself like a traditional Democrat, but for all intents and purposes, I think I'm basically a Democrat. If the Democratic Party does not figure out how to talk to rural Americans and win rural seats back, we're screwed. Like we lost seats this House election, which is not good.
Well, you've got to look
we
at the
need
fact
to
that
pay attention to that.
under Pelosi. Pelosi pulled the same Hillary bullshit. She called them deplorables. Who the fuck does that?
Yeah.
And we're still letting her be Speaker of the House when she called half of the country deplorable, when truthfully, maybe it's only like 15% of the country.
It's insane to me that Democrats are screwing this up. And yeah, I just, there's an organization out there, like, I think that's focusing already on rural Democrats in the next, 2022 election. I think it's at Rural Democrats even. I'll check it out in a sec.
We need to find that, Marco. We know what we're doing.
I implore everyone to check that out because that's gonna be where the battles are happening. Like we already know there's this rural urban divide, but we need to speak to.
I've been to a turkey farm and a meth lab in the middle of Iowa. I know how to win voters from that area.
That's what we need more of. Let me find the Twitter page. Yeah, I'll find it here, but it's not.
If anyone actually watching, just vote. Make sure your friends vote. That's the most.
Voting is tight.
Yeah,
voting is tight, and activism is good too. I feel like when you are authentic about it and you're passionate about it, people around you will listen. You get in. Like I've never been into a politician as much as I was with Andrew Yang. Like in 2016, it was like Birdie's cool. I'm feeling the burn, but I'm not like going hard on that. Then 2020 came. I listened to Yang. I read the book, and I was like, okay, I need to go tell everyone about this guy.
I got in trouble with my agent and one of the studios that I was working with at the time. If you feel for this ending up on like whatever the hell the Showtime political thing was at the time, if you feel the burn, Andrew Yang is the cure.
I like that.
I was chanting that on the side of a street in Iowa, next to Gianmarco, actually. And these people walked up with cameras and said, "Hey, could you say that louder?"
Was anyone mad at you, or were people receptive?
Like a month later. Oh, with the circus on Showtime. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out. I'd never saw that. That's awesome.
I remember that. That was when Bernie Sanders and Storm Lake event was as literally as possible across the street from our office.
Literally as possible. It was directly across the street. Some of us actually walked over there to see Bernie.
One second, I got to take this call.
He even drove by and he waved at us. Like his armored SUV pulled out and he just like waved at us. It was so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh man.
So.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know where the Yang Gang goes moving forward. I think some people.
I don't even think we're a gang at this point, man.
That's true. That's another. I think it's
we're versus Bloods.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter is one thing for sure. It's definitely heated on there, and I'm spending less time on it. Probably pretty much every day. A little bit less. Some days I might jump on more, but yeah, these.
Yeah. I found. Oh wait, here's someone wanting to join. I think. Oh wait, no, it's. Okay. Then. Oh wait, sorry, wrong notification. Yeah.
Anyways, unfortunately, guys, I have to get going. I will leave you two to it. Mayank, is it pronounced? Absolute pleasure to meet one of all of us. Mayank.
Thank you. Great meeting you as well, Gianmarco.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be in touch. Y'all take care.
Marco's about to change his Twitter handle from GPS to Mayank now.
And put Mayank GP Yank S or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. All right, later.
Yeah. Take care. This might actually be on the shorter side of most of our conversations, unless there's anyone out there watching that wants to jump in with us. Anyone? No one out. I think there's only like 6 people watching right now, so
that's all good. We're just chilling, having a good
got
time.
boring at some point, so we don't have the sex appeal of Pierce right now, so.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited for him to be on, and then he said he wasn't, but we got you at least, so I'm feeling. Yeah,
good. I wasn't supposed to be on tonight. I was supposed to be cutting turf and everything right now, so.
Yeah, well, things shift around. I'm happy to be here, and I feel like I'm
happy to be here. It was great to be here with you. It's great to see GPS's beautiful face.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to talk to him for the first time. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we can keep doing it again with the whole group.
Yeah, we need to do an actual full-on crossover episode and get Mayank T on. Get NT up here.
We'll get both of us scheduled on one day soon. I think so.
Yeah, and accidentally Meg, if you're watching, Megan.
Yes.
Seriously. 6 fucking months we've been waiting for you to accept our open invitation. Like, come on. Jump on.
Also, other news I forgot that if people don't know, I'm sure everyone watching knows, is Reverend Wendy, who is on Let's Fix America and on Growth with Tacos in the past. She is running for Congress.
Right?
Yep, she just announced her candidacy. She has a video out for first campaign ad video, and she is taking donations. She's going up against Eleanor Norton, I think is her name, in D.C. It's the one non-voting delegate in Congress, I believe, because DC doesn't have a
Puerto Rico non-voting.
Puerto Rico too, yeah.
Juan is non-voting.
Right. So they're
American Samoa.
But it's still very exciting because Eleanor Norton, I keep forgetting her full name, but she has been in that seat since I was born, since 1990. So
she's almost as old as Pelosi. Shit.
She's old. Yeah, I mean she's in her 70s. So this seems like a good seat. It seems like a Jermaine Johnson type of seat that she can pick up, where the incumbent had been in there forever. And if she can win the primary, she'll win the general by a landslide because it's DC.
Yeah. Well,
so go donate, everyone.
Yeah, donate to Reverend Wendy. We love her. Donate to Erica Rhodes. We love her here as well on Growth with Tacos. Fucking donate to David Kim still. He's trying to make up some money from some vandalism that occurred thanks to some of Jimmy Gomez's thugs. Let's call them thugs. They're straight up thugs, hoodlums, rapscallions.
Yeah, I mean the shady things that Jimmy Gomez did in his campaign, just you can't. There's so many. It's like using an old endorsement, using taking campaign signs away from him. It's just like on and on and on. It's
dude, I'm still pissed about the whole fucking he used congressional health insurance to pay for hair plugs.
I missed that one. Holy shit.
Like, who the fuck pays for hair plugs with Congress's insurance is so good it can cover health plugs because it's a mental health issue, but yet people can't walk into a free clinic and see a therapist and get Xanax if they need it. Or
take away Congress's health care, put them on what everyone else gets, and then they'll fix that.
Take away Jimmy Gomez's hair plugs. That's fucking bullshit. Make that motherfucker be bald.
Oh man,
it's called a sitting congressman motherfucker. I'm totally gonna get killed by the Secret Service now.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I think he might be on Biden's administration, maybe, which
Oh, in that case, still donate to David Kim because that'll be a runoff.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh wait, I
higher
remember
chance.
hearing about that.
Yeah, it's not a. Yeah, he obviously hasn't picked anyone, but if it happens, I guess that's good because David would have
like
a
I said,
pretty
it'll be
great
a
chance.
runoff, and David Kim like literally almost beat him. Like he was only
in
down by like what 6,000-7,000 votes
within a stone's throw of it, which is just phenomenal. Like that is a testament to how he put together his campaign, and how he ran it, and like he just killed it. Like I love him. He's so awesome.
I know. We had the pleasure of having him on this podcast, and it was just a great time with him for a couple of hours. And him and Adam Christensen. Oh my God, I love Adam Christensen. That man is like just going to McDonald's before it became processed food. Like you ever saw the reaction of Michael Keaton eating McDonald's when he played Ray Kroc for the first time? That's like everyone's reaction to like just talking to Adam Christensen.
Yeah, we haven't had him on Let's Fix America, but I'll definitely look at it. See if he wants to come on.
He's fantastic. Like the person he ran against, this woman like went full like Q on him and everything, accused him of being Antifa and being a super secret like Chinese spy.
I mean, how many reasonable people out there are actually like, yep, that's true. Like I really hope it's
she won pretty convincingly, in a very red area though. But he did cut her
red area.
He did cut the previous Republican votes almost in half.
Right. Yeah. I guess when you're in a traditionally red area, then things like that may move a couple people, but people
he did better than any Democrats ever done in that area. So
that's good. That progress is important, especially in rural America. Like, we're not going to win everyone over and shift the entire thing in one election cycle. You have to keep up that work and keep up that momentum. So people like Blair and Adam Christensen, I think, like those are really important things to like make sure that they keep pushing and getting to voters.
Can't let Blair quit. She's too good of a person to quit. She just needs to relocate to Nashville where she can get some Wi-Fi and, get elected. Yeah. We need someone like Blair. We need someone like, Adam. We need someone, like David Kim. We need so many others. Like the amount of others that we need is just,
Yeah. I mean, I hope to see more people in, what's the Yang Gang we're calling or whatever, people that fought for human-centered capitalism and, human-centered ideals, we could even call it, like just wanting to
people who fought for actual people. I mean,
exactly.
It doesn't have to be like anything related to gang as long as they're just like fucking just fighting for actual human beings and like life and all of that other stuff, like
and walking the walk too, not just talking the talk or just saying you're going to do these things. You're actually going to, do a grassroots campaign where you're talking to your voters. David Kim literally had Zoom signups on his website for constituents where they could schedule a time to talk to him. Who else is doing that?
Not very many.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, because most people don't want to talk to their constituents unless it's in a broad sense. They don't want to have that one-on-one conversation. They don't want their voters to become human to them because if they become human, then they can't sell them out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky enough to live in Ilhan Omar's district in Minnesota. So I have a good rep that I like because she and her team really put in the work in canvassing, and the amount of work they did got Minnesota's they completely reversed any of the gains that Republicans made in 2016 because of how much work they put into canvassing. It's crazy. We've got to learn from, I think, some of the progressives out there that are doing the kind of on the ground work. I know AOC, a lot of people may not like her. I'm fond of her for sure. And she put in the work and talks about, she had this thread where she talks about what they did with digital and their media work and got into the nitty gritty details of how they're spending their money and their time and how they're reaching people on that and following up with in-person kind of deep canvassing, they call it. So these are the things we need to learn and take with us.
I mean, with AOC, it's I'm not even really a fan of a lot of her policies, outside of, Medicare for all and, now UBI has become one of her things that she stands for and stuff like that. Well, I'm just a fan of the fact that she's willing to grow in front of you as a representative. She's willing to admit the mistakes that she makes. She's willing to explain why she changes her mind, versus, trying to retcon it, like a lot of politicians. No, I've always thought this. I've never changed my stance. How dare you doctor that video from 14 years ago?
Right. She's using social media in the way that a lot of us younger people are using it, I say younger because what is it? The average age in the House of Representatives is like 60s, something crazy.
712.
It's crazy that we only have a handful of reps in their 30s and 40s even.
Yeah, and most of them being in their 50s and 60s. It's just absolutely insane. We need young blood, because if we just keep letting old people in, they're only going to vote for old people interests. And if old people interests are all that matters, then what point do young people have in even existing?
Yeah. It's so important to get people.
God, I'm thinking really negative tonight. What is wrong with me?
Sorry, I'm probably feeding into it a little too. Yeah, it's just that kind of stuff is on my mind. Like, just how do we make things better? And I don't know. At least when I'm thinking about how we make things better, I dive into trying to understand what is actually happening, which ends up being kind of negative. But
yeah, when you understand what's happening, you're like, oh shit, I need alcohol.
Yeah, yep. That happens some days for sure. So that's why we have video games
tonight. Lipton Diet Raspberry Green Tea. It is absolutely fantastic. I suggest you all drink it. They are our sponsors. They don't give us money or anything. They just made me thirsty.
Water sponsored it today.
Clean water, hopefully.
Yeah, filtered. Brita filtered.
Yeah, it's almost as good as Fiji water. It's just not as wet. I just wrote Brita's new slogan.
Oh, that's good.
People really got to start paying for this shit sooner or later.
Right? Come on. We got to get some sponsors on here or something.
Yeah. Chipotle.
Yeah.
If you need a taco in under 5 minutes.
If you need an American taco.
Yeah.
It's still good though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I eat Chipotle because it's quick and delicious and gets you filled up.
COVID has killed the local taco game in this area where we're currently at, and so
that's a damn shame.
Yeah.
That's
local
what's killing
tacos
me.
are always the best tacos.
Yeah, we can talk about for a sec local restaurants are getting pummeled. It's so many have closed, and now even more are slated to close. And it's no, I don't want to live in a world of just chain restaurants that can afford to get.
I know, it's slated. I think the latest study said we're now on pace to close 60% of all single family owned restaurants by the time COVID ends. Hopefully, when it's projected to end halfway through 2022, when we finally get this under control, because
Yeah, I'm just taking in the fact that we'll still have a couple more months of this, At least, it's going to be a long winter.
A couple more months. We have a year and a half left, man.
Just, a couple months in my head, just kind of year and a half thing. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with some of the vaccines that are coming out. The different level of kind of effectiveness.
Apparently we can't take any of them because they all have tracers in them to be able to track where we are and tell Joe Biden when we're masturbating. Because Joe wants to know, because he's creepy Uncle Joe. Joe wants to know when you molest people, so he can help better molest you when he meets you on the campaign trail.
Oh, man.
That's
well, the UK, we're gonna see how it affects people. Really, the UK, they have a lot of their healthcare workers taking it, and I think
maybe it'll make them less racist.
And we're gonna see.
I shit on the UK a lot because I've been there multiple times and I just don't like it.
I've been there once or twice. I've been to London. It's cool. It's nice. Their food.
Yeah, but you're Indian. They kind of like you there because you gave them curry.
That's true. We gave them we literally gave them the only good food that they have.
True. I go and they're like, we used to keep you in concentration camps up until 1948. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Britain had some kept Jews in concentration camps too. They just didn't murder them. They just worked them to death.
Yeah.
So,
That's
a fun history fact that a lot of you don't know. Britain kept its own concentration camps for fleeing Jews. They would lock them up in the northern area and make us like pick crops and grow crops for them and everything, and wouldn't let us out. And they didn't let us out until after like the Nuremberg trials had already finished.
damn.
Or well, actually, the Nuremberg trials are technically still going on because they haven't caught and prosecuted everyone. But you know, up until like the massive 1948.
Let's also be real. It's not like they were, super friendly with Indian people in the past either. Kind of colonizing our whole country and all, and dividing it up and causing a fucking war between Pakistan and India for how badly they screwed up that transition.
Just for Kashmir.
Yeah.
It's pronounced Kashmir, right?
I think the American white person way to say it is Kashmir, which is totally fine. But the way we say it in India is Kashmir.
Oh, Kashmir.
Kashmir, yeah.
Kashmir, okay.
Yep. It's kind of like with Mayank. Mayank is how I say it for everyone, and how it's actually technically pronounced as Mayank. So it's
that's what I try to say. I try to say Mayank.
So
because I know that hard A is like that second A is always like an O from what I learned when I was in India.
Right. Oh, I didn't know you were in India.
Yeah, I was in India. I've been to India. I love India.
Awesome.
Your street food is amazing. Like by far, your street food is the second best in the world.
Oh man, where did you go?
I went to Mumbai.
Oh,
well, a lot of the old timers still call it Bombay. So.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I learned how to cook butter chicken in the hostel I was staying at and everything. Like I tried it and I was like, oh my god, this is like the most amazing food I've ever had. And so like I actually stayed like in the hostel for like 3 days and helped the lady like cook the buffet that she would put out every day just so I would
That's awesome.
Really good
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, have you had pav bhaji?
That's
pav
the
bhaji. It's like a vegetarian sloppy joe with like potatoes and it's one of my favorite dishes. If is that
the one with the soft bun that you can get from like street bars? Okay,
yes,
I have had that.
Yes, that's one of my favorite dishes of all time.
It's like a completely hermetically sealed bun, but with like this is spicy potatoes.
Yes, it's so good.
Yeah, I tried like pretty much everything I could get my hands on while I was over there. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
and I don't remember half of what I've eaten, but I came back with the thought process that the Indian food served here in America is not Indian food.
This is true. Most of it is not. Like butter chicken it's like an Indian dish, but it's not like
it's all about the coconut charcoal. That's what makes it. That's what gives it that distinct flavor. I found that. You know how hard it is to get coconut.
You can't do that here. Yeah, it's
no, you can get them here. It's just really hard.
Oh yeah. It's not super practical, right? It's for sure.
But it's worth it.
But yeah, I've been learning from my mom because we grew up eating North Indian food like lentils, dal, it's called. A lot of different like potato and cauliflower type curries or like, just different like dry curries they're called. They're not like filled with like a sauce or something. It's more like you do the dry spices with like a tomato base and like you kind of cook off some of the moisture and you have your potatoes and spices and stuff in there and a lot of roti, so very thin bread, not like a naan, which is a lot thicker and heavier. So definitely.
I need to go to northern India apparently.
Like Punjabi food in northern India is like it's my favorite. I know a lot of people love southern Indian food. Like there's
that's what we know here, or at least what we have the concept of knowing in America.
Right.
And the most popular places to go in India are the southern Indian like locations and everything. So like but I like to go off the beaten path, so I will totally go up there. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the kind of Americanized Indian restaurants here do take a lot of North Indian stuff too. So like like Punjabi food is like kind of the cream based heavier stuff that you're gonna get, and they kind of Americanize it in a way. So like like butter chicken, I think technically is Northern Indian, maybe in origin. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I know they have their own take on it in South India and different like regions of India have their own crazy different like style of cuisine. It's awesome, and there's so much food I still need to try.
Yeah, it's definitely a destination I want to go back to. So like I've also been to Thailand, which is like just scary as all hell. I went to a restaurant that had like monkeys in the window that were alive. And
shit.
I thought they were just there for like decor or something, but they like literally had cages underneath the table that they would put the monkey in and then pop its head up through the table and like saw its head off, and you would eat the live monkey brain.
I don't know if I can do that. I'm not into. I can't do brain. No.
It was scary as hell, man. I could not eat my dinner.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know how to do that. I probably would leave. I
asked the cab driver, hey, drop me somewhere that has like, you know, the best like food. And he just dropped me at this restaurant and said, here you go, man. You'll love it.
He probably wanted to freak you out.
The live monkey thing just kind of turned me off.
That would turn me off too. I'm not gonna lie. I would not enjoy that. So.
Oh, I totally didn't see this comment come in whenever it came in. So you guys should know this. My ex rock.
What up, Nick?
But yeah. Well, we've been on for an hour and 10 minutes. I think we've totally exhausted everybody.
Yeah, I had a good chat, talked about a bunch of different things, and
you got to meet the one and only GPS for the first time.
Yeah, it was great.
So if like the six of you have hung out for this long, impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
I think we'll end it with that, man. Everyone just get involved locally, do stuff, like change the world.
Yeah,
we need it.
Self-care is good too.
Also wear a fucking mask and get a flu shot.
Yes, please do those things.
We'll love you if you get a flu shot.
Yeah, take care of yourselves. Drink a lot of water.
Make you an apple pie. Get a flu shot.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know. Grandma still do that, right?
I mean, not my grandma because they're no longer with us, unfortunately. But my wife's grandparents, they make apple pies and they're good.
Cool. Yeah. So get your flu shots. Vote. Wear a mask.
Drink water.
Luminator 24. She makes great masks.
Yep, I have some as well from her, and they're awesome.
Let me find my Daredevil one. It's over here somewhere. Yeah, look, she even made me a custom Daredevil mask. It's freaking badass.
Oh, dang.
Go hit her up. Say, hey, I want a mask. She does them for free. You'll love them. So fucking get one. Wear one. Get a flu shot.
Really
get
comfortable
for COVID when it comes out. Other than that, that's all I can say for this episode of Growth with Tacos. Sorry for being so liberal. Pierce hasn't been here to rein me in, so yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not reining in any liberals here.
Yeah. So, love you all, and we will see you next Wednesday at 9:00 Eastern, 6:00 Pacific. And once again, our lovely sponsors, Lipton Green Tea, mixed berry mixture, fantastic. Drink it, love it. I actually have a full bottle right here. That way
drink
you can
more water.
See, drink it. Also, drink water. Brita Filters, also another sponsor of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
They're not PG water, but they're almost as wet. Take care, everybody.